This is going to be the quickest tier list you have ever seen. If you want an in-depth explanation on each character, check the link down below. I did stream it and I talked about each character specifically, so if you want to know more about your character, it's down there. But this is just going to be a quick rundown. This video is broken into two parts: bronze to diamond, the best characters that I think are better at climbing from bronze to diamond, and then the second part is going to be the best characters that I think are good for climbing from diamond plus to one above all, anywhere between there. Disclaimer, I do want to say this is based off climbing solo. A lot of my gameplay is from solo perspective. I don't use comms or anything like that. So if you're a solo player or you use duos to climb or anything like that, where it's a small group, this tier list is for you. If you're someone who's like, I play in a 6-stack, this is going to be different. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Timestamps are down below. So starting off with the best solo characters, we have Black Panther. Now, Black Panther in Bronze and Diamond is great because people are uncoordinated, and he thrives off of that because you can go in and basically be a pseudo dive tank, meaning that even if you don't get any KOs, the fact that you're back there causes a disruption. It's good enough. And that right there is an easy way to start snowballing and winning your games from Bronze to Diamond. Next, we have Cloak and Dagger. Pretty self-explanatory, but one of the main things that this character does is punish people that are out of position, especially when you're ulting. You could pick up a few solo kills yourself, effectively winning the fight. The next, we have Doctor Strange, the best well-rounded Vanguard in the game, even after his nerfs, even though he gets buffed when he gets nerfed at the same exact time. People just miss out on that. People think that he's bad, but he's not actually bad at all. What happens a lot in this game that I notice is when a character can't thrive with ease, as it usually does, and it requires you to take a step back and think about the situation before attacking that situation, players think the character sucks. And that's not true. You just got to play better. Period. Next, we have Groot. Groot is very good because it requires the team to play differently against a group. The fact that he can keep popping up wall after wall after wall is something that causes players to have to think about how to approach. And if you don't know how to do that, Groot just auto wins because, again, you have to learn how to play against a Groot. It's not the same as playing against any other character in the game. Next, we have the Hulk. For the same reason as Black Panther, just uncoordination, uncoordinated teams, and the fact that you could just kind of hop back and get a solo killer, maybe two, or a solo KO, or maybe two, is why this character is a great character. Next, we have Invisible Woman. Solid, best well-rounded support in the game. The utility that she brings is amazing. I will say though, she lacks damage, and so if your team isn't that great at doing the damage, she actually gets knocked down to A, but I'm going to put her at S because I think that she's just a very solid character. Next, we have Iron Fist. Same reason as Black Panther. Hard to deal with, requires tons of coordination, or else he's going to wipe your team. Pretty self-explanatory. Next, we have Iron Man. Doesn't matter what platform you're on, console or PC, people just have a hard time dealing with flying characters, so he gets to be up there, especially because he just got buffed. Next, we have Loki. Broken character all around. I love that character, but he is broken. Nothing really else to say about that. He can prevent a lot of ultimates from wiping your team. It's ridiculous. Next, we have Magic, the most broken character in the game. I don't care what anybody says. She's annoying. She's broken. She needs to be deleted. But bias aside, same reason that Black Panther, she's just very destructive in the backline, and it requires a lot of resources to deal with her. And most of the time, you're going to just lose to a Magic unless your team understands what to do. Next, we have Mr. Fantastic, a great character. It's nice to have a pseudo tank, especially if your tank is solo tanking and they have a hard time. Mr. Fantastic is great because he acts as a pseudo tank. So effectively, you have two tanks on your team, and it makes your other tank feel a little bit more confident because you have an additional tank. Next, we have Namor. Broken character, not even going to say anything about that. Next, we have Penny. So in Bronze and Diamond, usually people don't know how to deal with the nest, and she gets away with a lot just because people do not pay attention or understand how to deal with the nest. So by all means, she's definitely one of the best characters for Bronze and Diamond. Next, we have Rocket. Very good character. Is even better now because of his ultimate, and he gets it way quicker than all the other characters. So effectively, you'll have it 2 times before the enemy support has it once. Great character. Allows a revive if you make a mistake. Great character. All around, very hard to catch. Great character. Next, we have Scarlet Witch, another great character, especially after the buffs that she received and the team up ability that she received. She's able to handle multiple healers. If you have 3 healers, she can literally wipe a healer off the map through ultimate. Great damage, great way to deal with flyers, just all around great character. Next, we have Spider-Man, one of the most broken characters in the game, not because of the damage, but because of what he's capable of. Same exact reason as Black Panther. He can go into the backline and be disruptive, but he can just do whatever he wants, and that's the problem with this character right now. There's no boundaries, and so without a doubt, he's always going to remain S. Everybody always says he's not S popping. Nah, to me, he is. Next, we have Star-Lord. Very great character, but really, if you just farm ultimate and pop your ult, you'll just wipe the entire team every single time. Storm is the exact same way. Next, we have the Squirrel Girl, pretty much the fact that you could just take shots around corners and get ultimates and just wipe an entire team doesn't really need any more explanation other than that. She 3-taps healers, and she doesn't even have to really hit them directly. If she does hit people directly, it's tons of damage. Next, we have the Thing, very solid character. Although he can't deal with flyers, that's fine. He's very hard to deal with in general. He creates a lot of space by running into people. He prevents a lot of divers from playing the game. Great character. Next, we have Thor, just press buttons, you will win games. Next, we have Wolverine. Again, similar to Groot, it's requiring you to play outside of your comfort zone. You have to play differently when you're playing against a Wolverine, and because of that, it's a very strong character. And he takes a lot of resources to take out. Next, we have the decent Solo. So these are the characters that are pretty decent. You're gonna have to play a little bit better to get the wins, but they're pretty decent characters for Bronze to Diamond. You have Captain America, basically a Black Panther just without the damage. Go to the back line, cause chaos. When people aren't paying attention, you could probably pick off a healer because of the lack of coordination at these ranks. Next, you have Hawkeye. The lack of using cover. Even in high ranks, honestly, people do not use cover. But the reason why he's at A and not S is because of the inconsistency of the character. You're not going to always be very good with Hawkeye. It doesn't matter who you are. Even if you're the best Hawkeye in the world, you know for a fact you have off games. That is just the nature of sniper type characters. And he's not really a sniper, but that's the nature of these type of characters. And so that's why I think he deserves to be an A, but he is a great character. Hela is the exact same way. There's going to be off games, but also a lot of people can deal with your ultimate. Magneto's, Doctor Strange. The list really goes on and on who can deal with the ultimate, or you can just run inside and then, run undercover and you're fine. So there's a lot of things that can just ruin a Hela's gameplay. And then the same fact is that she can have inconsistent games. Next, we have Moon Knight. The problem with Moon Knight is he's just not good everywhere. He's a great character, but he's only great in certain situations. You can main him and one trick him, that's fine. But as a one trick, some maps or some areas of certain maps, because it's so open, it's hard for you to do anything about it. So, think about that when you play, but great ultimate. The Punisher just requires aim. Very great character to play, honestly. Bucky is the same exact way. Because he doesn't have infinite ammo anymore, I don't think he's S tier for Bronze to Diamond. It requires too much game knowledge, and it requires aim, just like the Punisher does. So, it's inconsistent in terms of like, if you are someone who can't aim, they probably won't be great for you, right? So that's why I have him at A. B, these are the characters that are doable, but honestly, it just takes a lot of work to do it, and you have so much to learn already. It's probably not best learning these characters until you understand the fundamentals of the game. So Emma Frost requires too much game knowledge, and in my opinion, it's just better that you wait until you're Diamond to really start dealing with her. Then next you have Human Torch, same exact reason. Jeff, not really that great of a character. He really is a cheese character, and so if cheesing works, he works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Next we have Luna. Very solid character, but just requires aim and positioning knowledge. And if you don't really understand how to position with this character, you're probably not going to have a good time. Magneto is the same as Emma. It requires game knowledge. You need to understand what you're doing and why. If you do not understand that, you're probably not going to do that well anyway. Is a good character, like I said. This isn't based off the strength of the characters. Please keep that in mind. This is based off the consistency you can have winning your matches. Next, we have Mantis. The problem with Mantis is her heals aren't that great. Yes, she's a good character in terms of being able to play offensively and doing damage, but the problem is, especially in these ranks, a lot of players don't know how to use cover, which means they take a lot more damage than they need to. She doesn't heal enough to compensate for that. Next, we have Psylocke. Great character, but unless you're a Psylocke player, she's just not that good. Next, we have Venom. Now, Venom's actually a great character, in my opinion. One of my main tanks, really. And I love this character, but in Bronze to Diamond, you have to understand how to dive properly. And a lot of the time, people just mistime how to do things. They mistime the uses of their abilities. He's simple to play, but just the game knowledge you need to make him effective, you don't have yet. And I've seen this from Bronze all the way to Diamond. People do not know how to play Venom in these ranks because they don't really understand how to play dive tank to the basic level. Venom is definitely one of those characters that require fundamentals to a T. This is literally Jin from Tekken. You need to understand everything about a dive tank and he will reward you. If you don't, won't do that well. And then last but not least, we have the not worth. So we have Adam Warlock and Black Widow. I don't think they're worth playing. Adam Warlock, just because people take too much damage, they don't really know how to play with this character. And also Adam needs to know how to play. So not only does your team need to know how to play with you, but you need to know how to play with your team. And it's just not it. Next, we have Black Widow, as I said before. Inconsistent character because your lack of ability to constantly hit headshots or body shots in general. She needs some help. When she gets some help, she'll be better. I don't really know what they're going to do, but that's just my thought process on this. As I said before, I don't think that I'm correct about all of the stuff. Obviously, tier list, no matter who it's coming from, is opinion based, but just based off climbing multiple accounts on multiple with multiple roles and multiple characters, this is my best for climbing from bronze to diamond this season. Now let's head on to Diamond Plus. Moving on to the Diamond Plus tier list, you can see some stuff got swapped around. Let's go ahead and hop into it. So the best solo characters for Diamond Plus are going to be Doctor Strange. Again, very well-rounded character. Although he received nerfs, he also received buffed every time he got nerfed. It was definitely a push and pull balance tactic, so he's not as nerfed as people think. And a lot of the times, people just don't know how to play properly. And when people don't know how to play properly with the character, they assume the character is bad. When it's the players that just don't play well. So definitely a great character to play. Don't let anyone tell you different. Next, we have Groot for the similar reason that I said before. Because this character requires other players to play to the character, this is a skill check character. If you do not know how to play into Groot, Groot will win. If you do know how to play into Groot, you most likely will win. So it is a skill check character, and he can do a lot of things, especially really, really good Groot players that make you just question, what do you even do with this character? Or what do you do against this character? Very, very solid character, but it does require you to be very good at him. Next, we have Invisible Woman, a great character for Diamond Plus. One of the main reasons is because now you're entering into a realm where players are getting better and people know how to play as a team better, and you don't really need a support to carry you through anymore. You need a support that provides good utility. Because she provides great utility, she's a great character, because again, they don't need a carry support, they need a support that has great utility, and she checks all the boxes. Next, we have Iron Man. So again, whether on PC or console, Iron Man is just, flying characters in general are just really, really hard to hit, but he did get a buff. A lot of the times, if he goes into his overdrive mode, he can duel anybody because of that overshield. I don't really know what they're going to do with them, if they're going to keep him this way or not. He also has a lot of fuel for just running away. He's a very, very solid character, and you will win a lot of games, especially if someone plays the Hulk for you. Next, we have Loki. Again, really broken character. Next up, we have Magic. So Magic is a special case. Honestly, it really depends on what rank you're in. Once you hit about Eternity, I feel that's where people understand how to play against Magic, and she's not as great anymore. And I think she deserves to probably be an A. Only a really, really good Magic player in Eternity Plus could really make her work. But that being said, before Eternity, I permabanned this character because teams do not know how to deal with it. It's similar to Groot. It is a skill check character. Do your supports know how to deal with this character? Do your DPS know how to deal with this character? If not, she will wipe your back line and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. I suggest permabanning this character until you get to a point where you feel she is manageable by your team. If not, and she just runs through your team, you're in trouble. So I just keep her at S because I'm biased. I hate this character, but I also keep her at S because it takes some time until teams really know how to deal with this character in higher ranks. Next, we have Magneto, one of the best characters in the game, just like Doctor Strange. One of the reasons why he's so good is because he can take people out of their heal ultimate. It could be used for a lot of different reasons, not even just healers. It can be used for DPS or against DPS. It could be used against tanks. It's a great ultimate, and his kit in general is a great supportive tank type of character. He's able to put bubbles on people. He's able to block damage with his shield. He does a lot of damage in terms of picking people off or getting poke damage. Very solid character, but you do have to mind your distance between other characters. If you do not, he will be ran over. Next, we have Mr. Fantastic. Again, very solid character, great pseudo tank, especially if you have a solo tank on your team. If you're running something like Thor, Captain America, and Mr. Fantastic, you probably just win this game. Next, we have Namor. As I said before, very strong character. Nothing else to say about that. Next, we have Rocket, always been strong, especially in high ranks. As I said before, when you're talking about high ranks, people are not looking for carry supports, they're looking for utility. Rocket brings tons of that, and he's even better this season. Definitely deserves to be an S. Next, we have Spider-Man. So Spider-Man inherently isn't really that bad when you get to this rank. However, when you go against a Spider-Man that is really, really good, that's when this character becomes a problem. People think you have to play out of your mind to play Spider-Man, and I already proved this time and time again. You do not. You swing around, cause a disruption, farm ultimate, go in, knock everybody up, win the team fight, rinse and repeat. But the Spider-Mans that are one tricks, that are like you spend like 4,000 bajillion hours on this character, they make this character beyond broken. And so this is why I put him in S. Next, we have Storm. Same exact thing as before, just farm ultimate, buff your team. It's supportive DPS. A lot of the players at this rank don't really need too many carries because everybody is generally really good at the game. especially once you get towards like Celestial and Eternity. And then one above all, having a Storm on your team to buff and amplify everybody, and then just straight up ult the backline. Great character that way. Next, we have Squirrel Girl. Similar reason. You know, you just pop shots, farm your ult, use your ult, rinse and repeat. I will say some maps make her a little less useful than other maps, but I think if you are a Squirrel Girl main, she's really strong. Next, we have the Punisher. Great character by this point. If you're Diamond Plus, you know how to aim. Very solid character. Has an answer to pretty much everything. Next, we have the Thing. Just a solid character. Nothing really to say. You guys kind of already know why he's a solid character. Next, we have Venom. I think Venom's great. The reason why I didn't put him any higher on the last tier list for the bronze to diamond is because they don't understand the fundamentals of diving. But once you're Diamond Plus, in my opinion, you understand how to play Marvel Rivals, at least at a basic level. As you climb from Grandmaster Celestial, you start to understand it more and more and more at an advanced level. But as a basic level in Diamond, Venom, you should know how to play. If you are a dive tank player, great character. Next, we have Winter Soldier. Nothing really changed except for the infinite ammo for this character. If you are a Winter Soldier main, it doesn't affect you that much. Let's be honest. Next, we have Wolverine. Again, requires people to play out of their way to play against him, and he's just very hard to deal with in general. In A, we have Black Panther. So now people are more coordinated. However, a very good Black Panther makes it not matter, but you have to be extremely good at Black Panther for him to be considered an S tier in this rank. So I put him down to A. Next, we have Cloak and Dagger. The reason why she got moved down to A is because Magneto can end her basically. Well, a lot of characters can end her if she is ulting incorrectly. And her cooldowns are very abusable because they're so high. So unless you really understand how to manage your cooldowns and how to path properly on Cloak and Dagger, she's not considered S in my opinion, and you could take advantage of her. But she's still a great character. Definitely a great character. Probably something you'll probably see in almost every game. Next, we have Emma Frost. So she moved up because at this point you understand how to play the game. However, she's not as strong as people may think, in my honest opinion. She is a very strong character, but she's a very niche character that doesn't really work in all situations. You could play her in one trick any of these characters, but once you outsmart an Emma Frost, she's not that great, right? And if your character starts to falter because people know how to play against you more, that means the character itself isn't as strong as people think. It's just a skill check, like Groot. The only thing about Groot and Emma is Groot is easier to use than Emma. So that's why I think she deserves to be an A. Should a player be amazing at Emma, I think she's an S character, but most players aren't. And so she's really kind of like, you should play her if you enjoy her. If not, probably steer clear. You could probably play a different tank like Strange and make it work. Next, we have Hawkeye. Just an inconsistent character, as I said before. You're not always going to be landing shots. Even if you're the best Hawkeye in the world, you are going to have bad games. That's how these characters work. So with that in mind, this is why he's not an S tier character. Next, we have Hela. Just like before, inconsistent character. Her ult can be dealt with, and she requires a lot of practice. She is a good character, but these are just things to keep in mind. Next, we have the Hulk. He went down from S strictly because people are, again, more coordinated. They understand how to deal with the Hulk. But I think he remains an A because if people pick If people pick Iron Man or Namor, they know how to use those characters really well. Then just having him on your team is an added boost to your team. And if you're a Hulk main, you're good. He's still banned in high ranks. There's a reason. Next, we have Iron Fist. So I dropped him down lower mainly because the fact that he hasn't really been nerfed, but he kind of was. So they've been turning him more into a tank buster. So the damage that he does isn't as quick as it used to be, which means you can react to this character more often. But don't get it twisted. This character is still a really, really good character. Next, we have Luna. We moved her up because at this point, you should know how to position as a support player. And she does really, really well. The only reason why she's not S is because she can't really reposition herself should she get caught out. However, something like Invisible Woman can. Next, we have Mantis. For the same exact reason, the lack of heals is why she's A. Her heals just are not that great, and it does require your team to play with her. They need to know how to play with a Mantis, basically. Because you're Diamond Plus, you should know how to aim a lot better now, so you can be a little bit more on the offensive. But even then, sometimes you're going to need to learn to straddle the line of like, should I heal more or do damage now? And if you don't know how to do that properly, you're not going to be a good support player in general. But because Mantis lacks on that heal more and do no damage right now type, like if you need to heal more, she doesn't have great healing. This is why she's an A. Next, we have Psylocke. So we're dealing with Psylocke, really, unless you're a one trick, she's probably not that great, but if you do play her, she's an amazing character, and she deserves to be an A, in my opinion. Next, we have Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch drops down mainly because she's easier to react to at this rank. People know how to deal with her when she ults. People know how to move her back. It's just very inconsistent when it comes to how her ult is being used, and players generally know when they can and can't take a fight against a Scarlet Witch. I still think she's a great character, though. Next, we have Star-Lord, mainly because his ult now is reacted to, similar to Scarlet Witch. Literally go inside, Doctor Strange, Magneto, Cloak and Dagger, like all these, you can avoid this dude's ultimate at this point, which is why I think he deserves to be lower. However, if the Star-Lord is a good player and doesn't farm ultimate like most Star-Lord players do, and they really understand how to play Star-Lord, the guy is an S tier character. He's very strong. Next, we have Thor. Similar to before, more coordination. Thor doesn't really get away with a lot of what he used to get away with because players are better now. Next, we have B, doable solo. Human Torch. Unless you like this character, and I mean a lot, he's probably not the best character to play. If you're like, hey, Poppin, let me just play a random DPS, who's good? Don't play him. You need to put hours into this character. Once you do, he's a very good character. Just requires a lot of time. Next, we have Moon Knight. For the same reason, he requires to be in. He needs to be in certain spots of the map for him to be really, really effective. But also, when you get to this rank and above, people generally know how to instantly wipe out that Ankh as soon as you throw it. And then they will take advantage of the fact that you don't have Ankh anymore, and you'll get ran over. So unless you're a Moon Knight main, probably not best picking him. Very situational character if you do not main this character. Next, we have Penny. So when we're dealing with Penny, people know how to destroy the nest now. Unless you're a Penny one trick, she's not the best. And even if you are a Penny one trick, most Penny one tricks don't even really understand what to do, and they still lose games. So you need to be above a Penny one trick to really make her work and start climbing yourself all the way to one above all, or wherever you're trying to make your goal. Next, we have C, not worth. So Captain America starts to be worse the higher you climb. I put him in A from Bronze to Diamond. He would still be A in Diamond, but then as you get to like Grandmaster, he becomes B, and as you get to Celestial, he becomes C, and then as you get to Eternity, one above all, he just gets worse and worse and worse. The thing about this character is he requires your team to be aware of what you're doing and taking advantage of what you're doing at that given time, because people are more coordinated in higher ranks. Healers will just heal each other, and you're not doing any damage. And so like you can't secure the KOs. And what are you doing? Like, just play a different character, basically. I love him. He's one of my main characters, but I just know I do not. It's too much work. I don't play him when I'm in Eternity and playing with one above all and all that extra stuff. It's not worth it. It's too much work. I play something else just to make it less work for me, even though I love the character. Next, we have Adam Warlock. Again, he's good with the right team, but we're talking about solo. So if your teammates are not on board with like playing the right characters to accommodate an Adam Warlock, he's not that good. Next, we have Black Widow. Again, just inconsistent, not that good of a character. Next, we have Jeff. Again, very cheesy. If cheese doesn't work, and it doesn't usually work, the higher you go, people become a lot better players. Then he's useless, basically. I think they need to reduce his damage and buff his heals so that way he can be more of a healing character. I have run into some very, very good Jeffs, but it's very few far in between. And so this is why I make him lower, because the average group of Jeff players are not that great in terms of what they bring to the table. So as I said, if you want an explanation and a deeper explanation on every single character, check out that stream down below. But this is the Bronze to Diamond and Diamond Plus tier list. Obviously, I don't think I'm right about everything. This is just based off my experience in climbing multiple accounts. But at the end of the day, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you got any questions, let me know in the comments below or in my Discord. Feel free to hop in there. And until next time, you know what I always say. Think you guys are doing what? Popping often. Will often.